Trading friends, how are you? Saturday, October 31st. Happy Halloween, everybody out there. I wasn't going to do a video this weekend, but in light of what's happened this last week, I figured I needed to do it so that I can get my ideas out to you all and get you guys understanding that, hey, this is an opportunity coming just like it is every single week. So let's take a look at what's going on and kind of tell you what I've been doing. If you can follow my Twitter feed, I'll actually show you that so you have to go look it up. But you'll notice how I positioned for this, and that I basically have got stopped out for big gains on a lot of my swing trades. And I'll show you kind of where those are, and then we'll go over some ideas for this next week. But keep in mind that the election is Tuesday. Doesn't mean things are going to get decided by Tuesday night or Wednesday or Thursday or even in November. We'll see. It's definitely an interesting year in many respects, but interesting chaos means opportunity for those that strike hard and have a plan. So let's go with the market first here. We got the SPYs. Again, as always, weekly upper right, daily upper left, 60-minute lower left, and 15-minute chart lower right. We typically focus on this on these videos, swing trading, holding stuff for a week, a few days to a week to a month, month and a half, 2 months, depending on your situation. So we stick with mostly the weekly charts and the daily charts. The market came down. Now you remember when I did the last video, it was last weekend. This is what it looked like. This is what things look like. Okay, so this here, oops, was the 23rd. That was that last Friday. And so we were looking like we were cup handle, like we want to break out. The volume was a little bit high in the handle, and it was also a little deeper than I like based on respect, comparatively speaking, to the cup. But nonetheless, I was leaning long, like the moving average crossover, okay? But when we gapped down on Monday and basically took out the support area, I got bearish. And I'll talk about this because it got away from me. I actually entered the SPY short on the following day, and I'll show you on my Twitter feed here. So here you'll see it right here on the 27th. Picked up some puts on the SPY expiring 11/20, November 20th. Here on the 27th, I picked it up. And also, I bought the VIX on Monday. You'll see it here. VIX picked up swing long today, October 26th. So we'll look at those two things. But let me get back to the chart here. So what happens, this is the 26th. So the 27th, we had a consolidation day. And I liked how it consolidated here in the tail. If you looked at the 60-minute chart here, this is the day I got short. I picked up those puts on the SPY. Okay, I bought those put options here. They expire November 20th, and you can see we've gone down. My target, as I've mentioned, actually pulling up my Twitter feed one more time. Here on October 28th, SPY swing short initiated yesterday, looking solid, not unrealistic. We get more downside, test that 320 area over the next few days. And also, look, I'm also scalping on the long side when opportunities present themselves, even though I'm short the SPYs. Okay, overall. So it's playing, doing the, I can go short. In fact, I went short on Peloton, which I've been long on for months. I think last week and made a killing, or it may have been earlier this week, and killed it on my day trading. So don't be mentally tied up of going long and short on the same stock. All we are is we want opportunities. We want to buy low and sell high and buy low. That's it. No, there's no other allegiances or politics or anything around it. We're just trying to make money and just follow the flow of what the charts are telling us, which is the footprints of money. Regardless of what people are telling you they're doing or they're not doing. I say, hey, I think gold's going up, or I think gold's going down. I think Bitcoin's going up, or Bitcoin's going down. The market's going to go up. They could be BSing you. They could be trying to unload and unwind a massive position, and they need buyers to step up and take their offers. And so they lie to you. But guess what? The charts don't lie, because the charts are the culmination of everyone, inside knowledge or not, no knowledge whatsoever, rookies, pros, commercials, institutions, hedge funds. It's all there in the charts. That's why the charts ultimately are king when it comes to making decisions, in my opinion, with regards to your money and your investments and making money at this consistently month in and month out. Okay, so back to the charts. Here's the daily. Let's just pull it out day by day. That was Tuesday, so I got short the SPY here, and of course it went down. And I talked about it here that that's not unrealistic. And in fact, I'm holding all of my puts as of now, shooting for that 320 target. I think that 320 target is a V bottom. It's got minor support to the left on the weekly. You can see it. It'll probably stall there, and then we'll see. Because I mean, technically, this is going to be a really volatile week coming up. Another reason why I'm going to get this video out to you. But we're still in an uptrend on the weekly. Right? We're getting a little wavy here on the daily chart. I think, and of course, it depends on who wins. But then again, it doesn't. The right now the conventional wisdom is Biden wins and the market's going to crash. Trump wins and the market's going to rip. Well, if you'll recall in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, it was if Hillary wins, market's going to rally. If Trump wins, market's going to crash. And what actually happened was Trump won and the market rallied. So just keep in mind that doesn't mean if Biden can get elected, the market could rip. So don't hang your hat on that and thinking that's going to happen. And the bottom line is, I vote. That's all the control I have, and I don't worry about who's going to become president. Whoever becomes president, and I'm going to make the best out of it. And it's going to be an opportunity in me. Everything that happens is an opportunity. It's something to take advantage of and to use to your benefit, regardless of how painful it may or may not be. Okay, so SPYs here down quite a bit. Let me pull up the VIX real quick, and I'll show you when I got in on the 26th. It was almost the picture perfect entry. I thought I got to get some of this VIX. Okay, there is March 20, or I'm sorry, April 20, or I'm sorry, October. Good God, 26th. It took out the top of that timing deal, got long right there early in that candle on the VIX. And on this big day here, I sold 25% of it when it broke this support area, right above this support, or I'm sorry, resistance area. I sold 25. So I have 75% of my VIX position I entered here still. I think we can go up and test this 30 number if we get continued downside, but that remains to be seen. Okay. So let's look at a few of the ideas I've gotten stopped out of for profits and why you need to take your stops. Let's look first at MGM. Beautiful pattern setting up here on the weekly. It came up when we had these down days. It took out this low of this candle, and that was enough for me. I got out there, and so far, good decision, right? Now, it doesn't always work out. Sometimes you get out and it goes right back up. So I'm out of the MGM. Let's take a look at a few others. DraftKings, I was nibbling here. Right here, see how it came down? Let me back it up so you can see what it looks like on a daily chart. And this one I actually took a loss in. Green candle after this big move down, support area, so I bought it the next day right there. And then when it took out 40, I got out. In and out like a robbery. And I took a loss on that. Not a big deal. Glad I got out now, right? It's down here at 35.40. Now, it could be setting up here. It's down pretty precipitously off this high. You've got support here to the left, but we need a setup. We need a green candle. We need an inability to follow through, and of course the market to get a little bit more healthy than it is right now. Now, CGC is one I dumped here on this day when it broke down below this low. I moved my trailing stop out. I could typically put my stop here at the pivot, but I got out of all my shares there, and this is actually a top long idea now again. So I'm flat. I don't own any shares of this anymore. But right now you got a pullback, rising moving average, serious crossover, Momo off the low. Got room to run after these pivots here a little bit, and I like what I'm seeing. I love the relative strength of the market. So CGC is actually a top long idea for this next week over 19. And where's your stop? About 18. You got a dollar stop, and you're looking for a move past this pivot V top high, probably up to this about 23, 20, about that 200 period moving average area will be my initial target. So CGC is one I got stopped out of and flat and looking to get loose on if it sets up for me again. And it's setting up right now, but it's got a trigger. Tilray, I did the same thing. I saw what was happening. I said, I'm going to start taking profits on Alays. Took profits on my Tilray. Came down here, came deep, and took out this pivot. So it's relatively weak to CGC, but I like what I'm seeing. So I'm considering this one not as strongly because CGC to me is stronger. You can see the way this came up on the daily, and look at CGC's Momo compared to Tilray. Considerably different, right? So I like CJC better, but this one's definitely worth entertaining on the long side as well, and it's on my list to look for. Walmart's another one I've been riding up, making massive cash on, and I just bailed here at 140. I'm out. Took out this pivot area here, rolled over off this top. Now I'm looking for it to come back down to about 133, that rising moving average here. You see the support at 135. Again, we had a few more down days. Things start to turn around. Watch these support areas, but I'm flat on Walmart. Took my stops on that too. All right, so a few more here to look at. ADP, I like the strength here. Look at the strength on a daily chart. Consider this long over these highs around 160, right? With a stop here around 152. ADP is very strong, worth watching on the long side. T-Tech is also very strong. Pullback here, rising moving averages in the zone. Buy it around 103, stop it around 101.99. And you see the daily chart here on T-Tech. Not bad as well. Okay, so what's the overall approach on this thing? And let me put up the Qs here as well. You can see the Qs are down here quite a bit. We're pulling back to support. We're still in uptrends on the weekly, but with the volatility of what's going on with the elections coming up this week, tread carefully. I think we're going to get a good shot at coming down and retesting these lows over the next few days. But obviously, if the market tells you difference, the chart tells you difference, change. Last thing I want to cover here is Bitcoin. because it's one thing that looks really, really strong. And I talked about this in my other video on Bitcoin. Um, it broke out with first entry was at 10,000 here on the weekly chart, and then a re-entry here at 10,000, then a breakout at 11,000, and then it broke out over the highs here, and it's continuing. Like I said in my Bitcoin video, I think this is going to get parabolic. I think it's going to continue running. My first target on this is $19,000, $20,000 per Bitcoin. Right now, it's a little bit too expensive to get in. It's flagging. If it gives it a little bit more, maybe another week in this area and breaks out above these highs, it's also buyable again. So keep that in mind. Ethereum is actually relatively weak now. It was relatively strong, but it's relatively weak, so keep that in mind. It's not acting as well, and I think Bitcoin, out of these two, Bitcoin is really the way to go. Litecoin also is showing relative weakness too. So really, Bitcoin is the one to be on and riding. As I said, wait for a setup though. I wouldn't chase it up here. Let it flag a little bit more, but it is flagging here nicely. Probably needs another maybe 3, 4, 5 days, and then go. If it goes past 14 now, you're running the risk of getting slopped out of it. It's up to you, but I'm not adding to my position anymore here at this point. If it sets up for another week or so, I may add to it if it breaks $13,000 or $14,000 at Bitcoin. All right, guys, hope that is useful for you this week. Trade well, trade carefully, trade within your plan. Then you don't have to worry about trading carefully because you'll be following your plan. And have a great week. We'll talk to you in the next video.